Kristen Clarke is set to make history as President Biden's pick to become the first woman and first woman of color to lead the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Her story is the American story, the daughter of Jamaican immigrants who grew up in public housing. Her nomination comes at a critical time in America and for the department, and after months of social justice protests. She has vowed to use her experience as an accomplished civil rights attorney and the single mother of a black teenager to make racial equality a top priority.
I remain committed to the promise of working every day to build a world of equal opportunity for all, a world where no 16-year-old is the target of hateful language, a world where no young man is racially profiled. I dream of a world that values his mind, his heart, and his exceptional soccer skills, and does not push him aside because of the color of his skin. I dream of that for every child in America.
Now, you would think that that is an admirable goal, but not to the Republican men of the Senate Judiciary Committee, no, who spent their time lecturing the Harvard and Columbia graduate on the subject of race.
I want to read a non-exhaustive list of elements of the American society, elements that you have at one point or another described in the past as racist. Police departments, federal agencies, Airbnb, election laws designed to combat fraud, the workplace, America's DNA, the Virginia Military Institute, the healthcare industry, federal courts, and the Department of Justice. Now, you've worked for the Department of Justice and with the federal courts. Were those institutions racist when you worked there?
So, Senator, I don't have the context for the list that you just
Have you described them as racist in the past?
I generally use the term discrimination. I'm a lawyer. I follow the facts.
Was Officer Darren Wilson justified or not in the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri in 2014? As
a private citizen, there is something that feels unfair. And
the Department of Justice issued an 87-page report. That's not that's not grand jury sensitive information. That's not secret. It's an 87-page report released by Vanita Gupta when she ran the office that you aspire to lead. It concluded that the shooting was justified.
All right. Well,
you obviously do not want to take the position that the shooting was justified, despite what Eric Holder and Vanita Gupta have said, given the fact that you won't answer the simple question, yes or no.
Well, that guy, Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas, seems to thrive on the politics of vindictiveness. In 2014, Cotton reportedly put a hold on the nomination of Cassandra Butts to be the ambassador to the Bahamas. She died of leukemia while waiting for Cotton to lift that hold on that black woman. I would also like to point out that hours after Clarke's hearing yesterday, Cotton joined Senators Hawley and Cruz, fellow members of the committee, in voting against a bipartisan bill on anti-Asian hate crimes. So, my friends, today's ignominious award for the absolute worst goes to the Republican men of the Senate Judiciary Committee who managed to simultaneously mansplain and whitesplain at this accomplished woman. But wait, there's more. There's one person who brought the stupid in such a spectacular way that we had to set him aside for special scrutiny, and that is next. Republicans came to Kristen Clarke's confirmation hearing, guns blazing, with lots of vitriol in their little spirits for some reason. I mean, something about Kristen Clarke just really seemed to get under their skin. I just can't figure out quite what that was. Perhaps they were just more interested in scoring brownie points with their xenophobic friends at Fox News than actually giving Clarke a fair hearing. I mean, it was something else about her. I'll just noodle on it along with you. Clarke is President Biden's choice to lead the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice. But here's what's fun. Some of these guys, like Texas Senator John Cornyn, didn't seem to do their homework before coming to class. Take a look at this exchange.
You seem to argue that African Americans were genetically superior to Caucasians. Is that correct?
No, Senator. I believe you're referring to an op-ed that I wrote at the age of 19 about the bell curve theory, a racist book that equated DNA with genetics and race. As a black student at Harvard that time, we took grave offense to this book. This op-ed opened with a satirical reference to the statement that you just noted.
This is satire?
Absolutely, Senator.
This is satire. That's my favorite line. With me now is Michael Steele, former chairman of the RNC, and Reverend Mark Thompson, host of the Make It Plain podcast. Oh, Michael, I hate to put you in a position of having to explain these people. What do you mean, satire? Are you telling me that The Simpsons is not a documentary about a family from the Midwest? I mean, it's like,
okay, so there are two moments here, Joy, that I thought were just priceless, and if they can become a GIF, a meme, or whatever, they should happen. The first is after he opened up his comment with, you claim that black people are superior to white people. Is that true? She had this look like, cannot be that stupid. And the second was when she said, well, I wrote that when I was 19. And as a black student at Harvard, just so we understand who you're talking to, look, this is everything you have said leading up to this segment and in this segment about what we're looking at here. Incredible, talented, gifted black woman who's about to get the job, and they can't stop it. I very proudly wrote a letter to all of them on my side and the other side on her behalf, because I've worked with her. I know her. She's competent. She's careful. She's consistent. And she cares about doing the right thing for, our community, but for the entire country. So they can't handle that.
Yeah, they can't, clearly. And meanwhile, Mark, Senator Ron Johnson decided, hold my beer. Here he is doing a Tucker +1 and saying, replacement theory? Hell yeah.
This administration wants complete open borders, and you have to ask yourself why. Is it really they want to remake the demographics of America to ensure that they stay in power forever? Is that what's happening here?
Mark, why is replacement theory now mainstream in the Republican Party? What is happening?
Well, thanks for having me, as always, Joy. They are desperate, and they have nothing else to do. Even this whole border thing, they've manufactured a crisis because they can't find a scandal that will stick to Joe Biden. They are counting on their voter suppression plans, and Kristen Clarke thwarts those. You know, Michael and Joy, I'm having a bit of deja vu because it kind of reminds me of Lonnie Guinier. You know, again, another determined and capable African-American woman. You know, there's a war against brilliant African-American women like Kristen Clarke, whether they're attorneys or activists right now, and we need to be mindful of that. But they're desperate. They don't know what to do. They have no plan. They've presented no policy, no agenda. So they have to manufacture all of these false memes.
You know, Michael, I'm old enough to remember when the plan was to try to get more black folks to vote for Republicans, right? And now it appears that instead they're like, or we'll just become a white interests party and see if we can dredge up more votes among angry people who are angry and white folks who are angry about the demographic changes in America. It does feel like the party has decided that the future is to just be a white interests party. And that seems like a dangerous place for a major political party to be.
Well, at this point, after 5 years of Donald Trump, what else do you have left? You have locked yourself in that corner. You have bought into that narrative, and now, as you noted, they're leveling up these theories on demographics and race. And here's the rub for Senator Johnson, just to help you out, brother. Understand this: we don't need a theory. We don't need you to go pull some book. It's happening in front of your eyes, right? Black and brown people are growing in number. Asian community numbers are growing. So you can't stop people and their natural progression. They're having babies, man. All right? Yeah. And they're being born here. So you can't take their citizenship away. You can make all kind of noise you want at the border, but the reality of it is the demographics of the country are changing. And you either get with that or you get rolled over by it as a party and as a senator who's trying to do whatever you're trying to do.
I mean, it's like George Washington enslaving 1,000 people and calling them all Washington, whatever their original names are, and then people going, well, how come all the Washingtons I meet are black? It's called math. Let me go to you, Mark, because I feel like the next sort of things that are going to set the Republicans off are already on the agenda. It's D.C. statehood that they're going to wig out over, because that would be a majority black state. It's the reparations bill, which you noted, we were texting about this yesterday, just passed through its first test to get to the floor. On the reparations bill specifically, how much of a war do you expect that to ignite? And do you expect the speaker to move forward on it, given the climate that we're in right now?
She has said in the past that she will. So we're going to trust the speaker on that for now. But we're going to make sure she knows that that's something that needs to happen. That's a heavy agenda and a heady agenda. When we talk about statehood and reparations in this context facing Republicans, that's kind of revolutionary, but we welcome it, of course. In terms of reparations, it's interesting because at the hearing last night, what was interesting, they debated reparations far less than they debated what they call court packing. They wanted to talk about the thing, and it was like and everyone kept saying, that's not what we're here to talk about. That's not appropriate. It's not even been introduced as legislation. But they really didn't have an argument for reparations. In fact, every time they brought up something about slavery, they would blame the Democrats. But the fact of the matter is, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Not only did he free the slaves, if he had not been enslaved, I should say, if he had not been assassinated, we would have probably had reparations. So I think it seems like they're avoiding a specific argument. And we'll just have to see where it goes. We're going to go forward. And if the Senate doesn't pass, we'll ask Biden to do executive order.
We shall see. Michael Steele, Reverend Mark Thompson, thank you both. That's tonight's Read Out. All In with Chris Hayes starts now.